Hello, everyone. Juxtaposition here. We have a special guest today, Shirley. Shirley is going to talk about her life experiences in North Dallas, North Fort Worth, Texas, and being involved in the military industrial complex with her husband. All right, Shirley, hello. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Thanks for joining me today to talk about the main driver of our economy in the America Hunger Game. Military spending is ginormous. It's in the trillions. And behind me is the SR-71 spy plane that is also a terrorist plane. These are two gentlemen. I happen to know the gentleman on the right. He's the pilot. I'm not sure if I should give you his name, Ed Yielding. He's from Alabama. Looks like there's chemtrails all over his polluted sky over his head there. I never really noticed that before. Anyway, I have experienced a takeoff or VIP status of this plane at nighttime. Ed does hold 7 overflight records across the United States of America. This plane that you see in the background is in, you can go see it. It's in the Smithsonian Air Museum in Maryland, near Baltimore, outside of Baltimore, Maryland. I think it's part of Dulles, near Dulles Air Force Base or airport, is the Smithsonian Air Museum. All right, so Shirley, you're going to tell the audience your story having to do with, you know, with Texas and a number of different military contractors. Kind of, can you set the stage for us? What topics did you want to cover today?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity for me to be here and to share my story with you. I really appreciate that. And it was something that I've spent a while trying to figure out some things that just didn't make any sense. And watching your show and conversations and videos, I've been able to put some pieces together. So I just wanted to say that first of all. It was like I was in oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I just wanted to tell the audience we have a title for tonight's show, which is
Okay.
Strange Happenings on Mockingbird Lane, 1313 Mockingbird Lane. That was the address for the Herman Munster and the Munster family,
Oh,
CBS Evil Eye, the unblinking evil eye of CBS, Columbia Broadcasting System. They had a TV show during the 1960s that was called The Munsters, and the Munster family lived in a mansion at 1313 Mockingbird Lane. And so we thought we would superimpose that title on your experience in the North Dallas area. Okay, can carry on.
right. Okay. Well, yes, let me see if I can put that up. Can you see that? Does that turn out okay?
No, I don't see anything.
Oh,
Not yet.
okay. How about that? No,
Oh, I see. Do you have a picture behind you? Is that what you're trying to show or no?
no. Okay. You want to pause it for just a second?
Okay,
Let
yeah,
it.
I'll pause. I'll pause it if I can find. Yes, hello everyone. We're back, and Shirley has her visual aids. Walk us through your slides, Shirley, if you would.
Okay, well, as I was telling you, it was a strange situation at the time, several years ago. It seemed like I woke up and I was living in the twilight zone, and my neighborhood, either the house next door or my house, was 1313 Mockingbird Lane. It was just a situation where almost overnight, people were changing their personalities. They were seemed nice, but they weren't really that nice. And some people were afraid, and the energy was different. So I just wanted to review all that time and kind of make sense of it. So
So
again,
was that before or during COVID?
that was before, was quite a bit before.
Okay.
When I went and looked at all my information, I had the year of 2011 as the year of change for me.
This is in North Dallas, directly north
Yes.
of Fort Worth, in
Right.
a golf course community called
Right.
Trophy Club,
Yes.
which is on
Yes.
Highway 114, which for
Right.
those people with gematria skills know that's 33, the highest level of the pyramid. The highest obelisk level is 33, the Masonic order. And
Right.
1 + 1 + 4, Highway 114, that comports to six. The number six is two threes, 3 3. So you were living on Highway 33, in North Dallas, which is a military industrial state, the state of
Right.
Texas, the Lone
Right.
Slave State. Now, do you remember the address of your house? I mean, it wasn't literally 1313, was it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, that's okay.
It
You
was
don't
a
have
40.
to, but
No.
you were living inside of Trophy Club,
Right.
and and you had neighbors, and you thought you knew your neighbors fairly well, as people do.
Right.
But all right, so carry on. That this is back in 2011. You started to notice that things just seemed different to you, or maybe it was your own self awareness was changing or altering. And back then, you were married to your husband at that time in 2011.
Yes.
All right.
And that's why I marked that time off is all this strange stuff was happening along with I noticed a change in his health. That's when his
All right.
health 2010, 2011 started changing. But really, we were moving in the late 90s to Texas because of jobs. And I think that's what most of us do is our world revolves around jobs, even from the time we're little we, I think, work on getting good grades, but not really the information that we're learning. We're focused on getting the grade to get the job. And I think that's dictates our lives is getting a job. That's what it revolves around. And that's what revolved around our life too. The schedule that we keep, the houses we live in, where we go. And that's what happened with us. And I'll put a little thing here. Yeah. It's job, job, jobs.
Well, that's
Yeah.
very good assessment, Shirley. That is the kind of
Yeah.
the control. One of the main
Right.
control grids is how to migrate people to neighborhoods and status, because you can have entry level neighborhood, middle management, and
Mhm.
then you could have like a golf course country club and nicer housing. So
Mhm.
you're no different than your typical successful educated person in America. Is you try to seek out a good paying job with benefits. All right, continue
Yeah.
on. What else you got?
Well, I because of jobs that rule our world or direct our world. My husband's job, he was the main breadwinner. So he was an electrical engineer most of his life. He was in the defense industry, and really he he was one of seven children. He was the second oldest of seven children.
Okay.
And they had moved from New Jersey when he was 12 to go to Southern California for his dad's work. His dad was also an engineer, which is why he wanted to be an engineer.
Okay.
And sadly, after 2 years, his dad became ill and passed away. And he said that's when life changed for him.
I see.
And yeah, so his mom, I really liked his mom. I was lucky I had a nice mother-in-law. I heard
Yes.
stories about shopping at the Dent Food can store, uh, just, cutting costs, cutting people's lawns. There was a paper route, and the inserts were shared disdain for.
Was this your wedding? I think
No,
that's not.
no,
Okay. All right.
no, no,
I
I
get
didn't
that
have the
confused.
veil.
I think that
I
was
didn't have the veil. I did have a veil, but not over my face.
Ivy Love Getty's wedding in the height of COVID with Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi not wearing her face mask. Uh-oh, non-compliant Nancy Pelosi. All right, continue. All right, so anyway, I'll get that.
No. But anyways, she with seven children, she did go back to work. She was a trained nurse. So later on she did go back to work. And then he when he graduated from high school, he worked nights so that he can go to school days for electrical engineering.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's why he became an engineer. And he started off at General Dynamics, which is defense. But why
Yeah.
he started off at General Dynamics is what a lot of young people do. That was the major employer in San Diego. So he went to work for them, had good benefits, starting off job. And then they moved out of San Diego, which, let's see, they moved out of San Diego, and so a lot of people were looking for jobs. So he always stayed employed in the defense area, but smaller companies. And then because it's so long, I have his resume, but uh, what we're talking about is Nokia. That's when he
Okay.
went to when we moved to Texas.
Okay.
So,
So then he went to Nokia.
mhm.
What
Which
what did he
was
do for Nokia?
he worked on the testing of the testing equipment for phones, cell phones. The Nokia was the major cell phone manufacturer at the time.
Okay.
And it's a different time. We're talking about the late 90s
Okay.
and completely different. I don't know if people realize that, but it's just when phones were starting off and not everybody had a cell phone. That's what they did is they manufactured cell phones. So they were a Finnish company. And let me see what
Finland. Yes.
Finland. Yes, he went to Finland with a group of engineers, and he went and had I think reindeer stew when he was over there, and then they came to Texas and they had Texas barbecue. And so I felt it was a completely different environment than I was used to as a wife of someone in the defense industry normally. It was very non-defense. It was not this need to know, we don't talk to anybody. It was
It's
more
more
social.
consumer products.
Yes, it was consumer products. So I liked it actually.
Okay. All right. Very
Yeah.
good. Because at General
So
Dynamics, they have security clearances that your husband had when he was
yes,
at
he did.
General Dynamics in San Diego.
Yeah, he did. He
And
had.
his job in Dallas for Nokia.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then how
Yeah.
many years did he work for Nokia before he switched to another company?
Well, unfortunately, Nokia, once we started working there, they decided to move out of the country after several years. So
Okay. So
um,
how many years did your husband work for Nokia?
I'd say about three or 4 years, maybe.
Or I'd say for how many years was he at General Dynamics in San Diego?
Mm, something similar. Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
have to look at the
And
resume
then
again.
okay,
I
so
was
then
focusing on
so Nokia
Raytheon
left.
for a
So
long
then
time.
what came next? Raytheon or some other companies?
Raytheon, and that's where
Okay.
he worked
All right.
for
Well, let me
11 years. Yeah.
okay. And he how many years did he work at Raytheon, did you say?
It was 11, 12 years until he got sick.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Yeah.
Um,
So I put these up here because of the logos. And we were talking about, well, Nokia's Nokia Bell Labs, but it really wasn't Nokia Bell Labs um, till like 2016. When we came in, it was more this time period of 1998. And I had my visual aids here, but I don't know if they work out very well. So I was just going through,
go to the next slide after this one because we've kind of
sure,
used
too much
used
time.
that Nokia. So what's the next one? Do you have
The
a
one is Nokia. That's 2023. They
right?
do a lot of O's and V's. You want me to keep going?
Yeah, do you want to refer to the symbols, the signs and symbols that rule our world? Are these corporations using symbolism?
They definitely are. They definitely are. The logos show a lot of the mergers that take place. They represent the companies. They're supposed to represent what people are supposed to see, the marketing aspect of it. And they even started off in 1865 as a paper mill, which is why they have the Nokia. It's the lake or the river. And then they show the capstone, which a lot of companies do at that time. They went to rubber, and right now is what we came in was Nokia. And let me go back to this one. See, when we started the cell phones, with the cell phones, their motto was connecting people, so person to person. And then that changed once they were done with that and they went to the internet of everything or things. Then they switched to this logo, which is all your O's and V's. So, anyways, I
Yeah,
will
O's and V's. Wow.
O's and V's. Yes, that's what we see with a lot of the
Okay.
companies now.
There's a Masonic message there. There's a symbolic message there. And what do you say V's mean, Shirley? What do you think?
Me personally,
Yeah.
I think it is representative of transition. Um, like we are changing. It
What's
could
the O?
be,
Does O have a meaning?
oh, yes, it's like, well, let me show you. I'll skip ahead to Palantir.
Okay.
Palantir also has the O and the V.
Yes, it does. Good point.
Yeah,
Just like Nokia did.
right.
Palantir, Peter Thiel. All right.
Yes. So, and then you got your smart dust in there.
Yeah.
Oh, they when you look at Palantir, they say it's from Lord of the Rings, and it is the crystal ball. It is, let me see.
Yeah. Like the all-seeing, unblinking evil eye of
Yeah, it's
which
all
you
the and
it,
also
Horus. Die of Horus. Go ahead.
yeah, it's the all-seeing eye, everything you can see into the future. You can read people's minds. That's BCI. You can also see an image like television. You see a vision, but like with Lord of the Rings, you could only show something truthful, but didn't mean you have to show the whole picture. And I think that's where we're at now. Like you can see a war scene, but if you zoom out, you're really on a movie lot. And nowadays, you don't even need a movie lot. You have the computer. So it's all that deception, really. It's look at the camera, but you really don't know what we're looking at, or at least if it's truthful. Are we seeing something generated or not? So I think that's the whole philosophy there.
Okay. Very good.
Okay.
Oh, here's a clip. Nokia agreed to acquire Alcatel-Lucent, Bell Labs parent company worth 16.6 billion. Their first day combined was January 14th, 2016. Now, what is the significance of January 14th, Shirley?
Well, I put that in there because we were talking about Nokia Bell Labs being defense. And that date that they merged, they said it was January 14th, which is 114. And I didn't even know anything about 114 till you brought it up. And you said that it has military association. Now I know where I lived, it was Highway 114, which
Right.
was in between Trophy Club and Westlake.
Right.
And
So you
then,
lived on Highway 33,
yeah,
and the merger with Bell Nokia Labs was on January 14th, which is 114, which is
right.
33.
Yeah,
And for people that don't know about surface to ground missiles, there's such a thing as called air to ground missiles. And the worst, most dangerous missile that's been conceived is the Hellfire missiles that are attached to drones or fighter planes. And they're called AGM 114. AGM 114 is the
interesting.
Hellfire missiles that are used in Iraq and Iran and Middle Eastern battles and could be used in a town that you live in. The air to ground missile, guided with Raytheon technology, but is referred to as an AGM 114, which is the same as the date of the Bell Nokia Labs and to Alcatel and Lucent.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's the same as the highway that you took to go to the grocery store in North Dallas.
Right. Right.
What can you say about
Exactly.
that? All right, it's crazy.
Yeah, even the notation, the footnote was number 114, which got my attention as well. And I never would have caught that unless you
Mhm.
talked about it and brought it up. I know even in the movies they have that Clockwork
Yep.
Orange. It's in that one too.
Oh, Clockwork Orange, right.
Yes. So
Yeah,
let me.
people need, listeners should be aware of numbers, dates, ages of people, street addresses, because there is military tagging cipher codes. That's what it is. Cipher code is not intended for the general civilian population. It is intended for people who are in the military cult, who are in the intelligence services. That's one of the ways they can tell where operations are to be had, to be planned, or the locations. But the general public is to be kept clueless and unaware of what's going on in their own neighborhoods. In your own neighborhood, you probably have cipher codes in and around where you live. It's just you're oblivious to it. So here at Raytheon, and Raytheon has a number of different corporate logos and signs and symbols.
Right, right.
All
Not
right.
too much difference in those, except the red one is the time frame that we came in on, the same as Nokia,
Okay.
that block lettering. But then if you notice when you go to 2020, now we've joined in with the more circles. Now they say that when they went to Raytheon Technologies, that's RTX, they merged with United Technologies, and that was their logo, which was engine turbines. So that's okay. They adopted that. That's what some of them do. But I think it also has other meanings as well, because when you look at different things, and the literature indicated that as well, they want to incorporate the logo with all the companies that they merge with. So I was seeing that with Clockwork Orange that we're talking about the movie.
Yeah,
They did have, I don't know if we can see it,
might
but
be able to pull it
well,
back just a little bit from the screen. Yeah. Oh, perfect. That's right there. Okay, so it looks like a
yeah,
hat.
yeah, it's
Tell the
the
audience
movie.
what that is.
Well, it's a gentleman with a hat and he's got the all-seeing eye and it's a triangle. And then he's got the eye that has the same symbol as the Raytheon logo. Not saying that it is, but it makes a lot of sense, I guess.
Well,
And
and what aspects of Clockwork Orange do you think pertain to military operations or pacification and control, which is really the main purpose of military, is for pacification and control. They don't have to kill
right.
you if they can control and herd you like a farm animal. But do you see some messaging going on with the Clockwork Orange as
Well,
having a military purpose?
we were talking about 114, and serum 114 is the drug they use for it's called Ludovica technique, and it's basically to, brainwash people to control them. It's something,
In detention, in a hospital setting, in a,
yes,
for inmates of a prison or patients of a hospital, they're given medication,
yes, it was given to the guy named Alex under the guise of supplemental vitamin to
right?
cure his malnutrition caused by insubstantial food in the state prison.
Yeah,
And
kind of like a
yeah,
vaccine, like having a COVID shot.
yeah,
Although maybe, it's different, but yet the same, right? They're putting foreign objects into your body and then controlling you, or tethering
right,
you to computer to brain interface. That's what we
right,
have going on today. We have computer to brain, just like we have air to ground and we have ground to air. There's ground to air
yeah,
missiles, there's air to ground, there's air to air, there's air to air, there's person to person, people to people, there's computer to people,
yeah,
much more so than there are people to computer. I see the messaging going mostly one direction. And if they want to harvest your energy like a dairy cow, then they could milk you. They could milk you through a neuromodulation, put it in reverse, and suck
right.
the like a vampire, suck the energy out of people. But all of these techniques that you're describing here with the Clockwork Orange, That's what
Hmm.
Raytheon does. That's what Nokia cell phones. Anyone that's in the cell phone business is in the send and receive, transponding. So is Raytheon. They do distance to target. They lock on a target. They trace and track a target. And then they do target assessment, which is the analysis of what it is that you're targeting and whether or not you need to destroy the target or just continue holding surveillance on the target until further notice or notification command. So, you can do that in a hospital, you can do that in a jail, you can do that in a prison or a penitentiary. And guess what? You can do it in a gated golf course community too, can't you? Isn't that
Yes.
interesting? And your husband worked in the trace, track, and targeting business. He did that certainly at Nokia, and then he certainly did it when he was an employee of Raytheon. All right,
Yeah.
so he's in the trace, track, and targeting business. Carry on.
Well, I just thought it was interesting that Clockwork Orange. I thought, what does that exactly mean? And they said it signifies the mechanization of human beings in a dystopian society. It relates to the novel's themes of free will, the conflict between individual freedom and state control, and the dehumanizing effects of a highly regulated society. The juxtaposition of clockwork, mechanical, and orange, organic, underscores the tension between natural human impulses and imposed artificial order. So that's exactly the technology that we're talking about. So I thought, it all kind of plays together. It all is working
Well, do you
together.
remember what year Hollywood released Clockwork Orange, or it was a British film? What year? Like I believe it was from 1960s.
Yeah, don't remember. It got a bunch of awards. It was really
Well, it was
popular.
from the 60s. I do
Yeah, it
recommend people
was.
check it out because it's a prepper
Yeah.
movie for Donald Trump Freedom Cities or Kamala
Yes.
Liberty
Yes.
Cities or what
Yes.
we'll call C40 cities or cognitive cities or smart cities. Or here in California, the closest one that I have is called a California Forever City that they were going to put, though they're saying they want to put 400,000 people in there, but I know they lie. So I think you should triple it. It's going to be over 1 million people living
Mhm.
next door to a NATO base, Travis Air Force Base. California Forever will surround it on three sides. Three or four sides will be this prison camp that they're calling California Forever. Be affordable. There'll be no houses. It's not a golf course country club. They're apartments, three-level apartment duplexes. They share walls and floors and ceilings. There, no one, maybe the governor of the Hunger Game will have a separate detached home, but the prisoners within California Forever will be in apartment dwellings of different sizes. Anyway, that's brought to you 60 years ago in A Clockwork
Mhm.
Orange.
Yeah.
60 years of prepping for us, for our life.
You talk about Helvetia, and that's what got me thinking about all this. I didn't know that it even existed, but you were talking about it being in different stages. And I kind of thought, well,
Right.
were the things that I was seeing different stages as well? Because we were looking at the late 90s, and every 10 years things have changed. But it's been a
Yeah.
slow transition, and we're so busy with our daily lives, we don't really see those changes. And that was the part that I showed in the logos, is that things are changing in time. And it kind
Yes,
of gave me a
they
better
are.
immediate image or picture of the whole situation. So, okay. The
Yes.
next one is location, location, location. So the jobs direct where we live. And we've gone through and here we are. We're heading to Texas for Nokia. It's Dallas, Fort Worth. That's Dallas right there.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's really a good location.
Yes.
This is the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. You have Fort Worth on the left, Dallas on the right, and Trophy Club is right up here, that yellow.
You
So
highlight. Yeah.
yes,
Now,
it's
you also have the Trinity River runs kind of north to south, I think.
Right.
kind of northwest to
Yeah.
southeast. And
Yeah.
the Trinity River comes really close to where John Kennedy was assassinated. So he's actually the closest natural waterway to the Jack Kennedy assassination is the Trinity River, which is really close to the railroad trestles. All right. Anyway,
Right.
but you're north of that. It's about
Right.
20 miles to the northwest of Dealey
Right.
Plaza, Shirley.
Yeah, something like that. I think you can
Mhm.
get to Dallas. It always depends on traffic. So half an hour to
20
an
to
hour.
20 to
Yeah.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then how close are you to the Dallas Fort Worth airport? How
Oh, that was close. That
that's
was
pretty
like
close to you, right?
15 minutes. Yeah, that's why it was such a good location. That's why it's one of the primo locations is that you could get to either city, you could get to the airport. Now the whole Metroplex has really grown. When we were there, it was not as populated. So I
I
kind
have
of
a
liked
brother
it
in
when it's like that.
Frisco, which is about the same.
Okay.
It's pretty close to
It's
you.
north.
Frisco
Yeah.
is to the
That's a nice area too. It's north
east
of
of
Dallas. Yeah,
yeah,
it
North
was east
Dallas,
of
but to
us.
the east of Trophy Club.
Right. That's a nice area as well, that whole northern area. And that's grown too quite a bit. All the Metroplex has really filled in.
How long does it take to get to Billy Bob's, the largest honky tonk in the world in Fort Worth, Texas? How far? You're about the same distance, seems like
Oh,
20 to 30
yeah,
minutes to Billy
right,
Bob
right. Yep,
to Fort Worth.
yep.
Okay,
You could do
that should
that.
give people an
They have
idea
some
that
good
you're
restaurants there.
northwest of Dallas and you're like directly north of Fort Worth.
Yes. So
Okay.
yeah, it was a good location. It was a very, very nice.
Yes. And how many years did you live at that location, Shirley?
98, about 20 years.
Okay. 20
Yeah.
years. This is the golf course. This is the only golf course designed by the world famous golfer who I just forgot his name. So
Ben
let me
Hogan. Ben
Ben
Hogan.
Hogan. Yes.
Yes.
Now, I've been to the Ben Hogan Country Club, but he didn't design the golf course at his own country club. He designed Trophy Club. Ben
Right.
Hogan designed your golf course.
That's right. He did.
I've never
And
been there, but go on, continue.
the reason why it's called Trophy Club is because he was supposed to house his trophies in Trophy Club.
I
And
see.
he designed the golf course, but somewhere along the lines they had some dispute and
Right.
he withdrew and said, no,
So,
there's no
I,
trophies in Trophy Club.
yeah, I think the trophies are over in Fort Worth at the other country club associated with him.
Okay, that
Um,
makes sense.
which has a name and it's not his name. But I went to a wedding reception at the Ben Hogan Country Club, and I believe I saw his trophies there. But they were supposed
Okay.
to be here
Yeah,
at
they were supposed to be here. This is one of the beginning diagrams of Trophy Club. It's really filled in since then, but I did circle the area when we started living there. Um, it was in the late 90s. So the country club was more the late 70s. It was a community at that time. So you see a lot of the houses starting that era, and then it grew, and we were one of the newer homes in the late 90s. And then it's already now I've got stuff on 2023 where it's really grown in. They kept saying it's going to be built up, it's going to be built up. And then finally they did build it up more. So
okay.
I'm just showing this and then let's see. Okay, here we go. Here we go. All
All right.
right, so it's filled in more. You can see that. I looked at the population difference. So in the 2000s, we were 6,423 people. Westlake, which I kind of go hand in hand with, they're more elite. They're more higher up scale, and they were not as populated. But I love the property. It's very pretty. 2010 is kind of the time where, for me, things were changing because of my husband's health. And then 2023 is what I'm going to show a brochure of is their new marketing plan. So how they've changed in time. So this in 2023 is uh, printed marketing plan for them basically to be known as the Texas town of patriotism. And that's
Yeah.
what they're going to be for the next 10 years. So this gives you an idea. They've got their clock tower, 20 pages of basically how everything, the town has been built up, and it is all about patriotism. Everything,
Right. And
uh,
there is no such thing as patriotism in real life. There's just mind control. So
yeah.
if you're going to wave a 13 stripe Swiss Hunger Game flag, you're most definitely as inverted and perverted as possible. That's a that's not patriotism. That's enslavement. You pledge your allegiance to your master. That's what the Pledge of Allegiance is. Allegiance is the relationship between a slave and the owner of the plantation and the owner of the slave. That is called allegiance, that you show respect to your owner. And that flag represents ownership. It involves slavery and imprisonment. And, having spent time in Houston, Dallas, and Fort Worth myself on business and personal, I've never seen so many clueless people in my life, and they all have their opinion about California. California is loaded with fruits and nuts and clueless people, but not as extreme patriotism as you'll find in the Lone Star State. Texas actually thinks they're their own nation. Not only are they not a nation, they're most definitely not even a state. I mean, when you murder your own president in at 12:30 p.m. in a Masonic triangle with an obelisk in a 666 address, you can't get any more satanic than Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas. So it just cracks me up. You know, there's great barbecue and great steakhouses in and around Fort Worth and Dallas, but there's no patriotism at Trophy Club. But it's fun that they pretend. You have a child there. They do it in France. They do it in all the Hunger Games. All the Hunger Games, they fly flags. Flag waving is really important for the prisoners of the Hunger Game. They fly flags because remember, you want to think that you're living an independent life when all the important decisions are made for you by a bank in a secret room in Helvetia. You're just part of New Helvetia. New Helvetia is New Switzerland. All right. Sorry to interrupt. Go
Oh,
ahead. Continue,
um,
Shirley.
that's the thing in 2010 and 2011, I was saying that things were changing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had noticed three things, a pattern. And one of
Okay.
them was there were more flags being posted, more flags coming up in front of
Uh-huh.
people's homes, especially after
Uh,
they moved out. That was my observation. And
okay.
I'm not making that up to go
Did he
along
do
with
anything with
you.
the Fourth of July parade, Shirley? Did they continue? I'm sure they had a Fourth of July
They,
parade.
oh yeah, they always had a Fourth of July parade. They have a humongous flag at that time when we moved in, and they just had more and more flags. They're big on celebration. This whole marketing brochure of 20 pages shows how many holiday events geared around military, like Memorial Day and Veterans Day, everything.
Right.
They've got like 10,000 flags that they put up. Very, very involved in all that. So,
Okay. Yeah, it's not
yeah,
just, I don't mean to pick on Texas per se or Trophy Club. I mean, that is done everywhere in America. They're overkill with the patriotism nonsense. We certainly do it at the Super Bowl. We do it for the World Series of Baseball, right? We do it with the Olympics where we
yeah,
pretend
it's
United, how many medals does the United States get versus the other fake countries? It's all mind control. Those are mind control programs. That's why we have an Olympics. That's why we have a Super Bowl. If there was no patriotism, mind control, you can just cancel the Super Bowl because don't forget the halftime show. That always has a woke message. The halftime show.
the thing is, people have family that have served or are serving. I know you have family that was in the
Yeah.
military, and I have people
Yeah.
that I know that have served or children that have served or are serving.
Yeah.
So when we look at these images, these symbols, we think of them, and that's where the conflict comes in. But I think it's good to know how these symbols and things are tainted and how what we hold dear that
Yeah,
they
because my
use.
family service was in Somalia and Haiti, and the last time I checked, neither Somalia nor Haiti has ever invaded the United States Hunger Games. But there we are, spending time and energy in places that are not relevant to the barbecue that you can find at Billy Bob's in Fort Worth. But that's where a person who was living in Dallas at the time of his patriotic service is. I don't see how you're defending Fort Worth and Dallas in Somalia, in Mogadishu airport at Somalia. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, let's see. Okay, this shows all their different events that they have. And I didn't want to show all the 20 pages, but this one struck me because wreaths across America, they're showing the wreaths that they put on soldiers' graves. And it was also a fundraiser, turns out, 2018 for Christmas wreaths. So my neighbor was selling those. And that was another thing I saw too, is more of these decorative wreaths coming up on people's doors and along with the Christmas wreaths. And so anyways, I of course bought one because it's for my neighbor's kids fundraiser.
It's
And
like Girl Scout cookies.
yes, exactly. So I always try to do that. And so there was a good fundraiser because pages were all filled up, and my name was the only one in red. So, but it was right after my husband passed away, so I call it the Rest in Peace Christmas wreath. There you
I
go.
see.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. Look at this. That's pretty.
That is Westlake. And that's what my good memories, that's the Circle T Ranch. And it was sold to Ross Perot Jr.
I
And
see.
that was in the late 90s. See, that's my memory of how pretty it was. And it's still very pretty now, the whole area, but it's developed more and it's very upscale. But yeah, this is the town of Westlake established itself as a financial service industry cluster within the DFW Metroplex. You've got Fidelity, Deloitte, and Charles Schwab campuses, and they're just, yeah, it's very pretty. Everything they've done, I have to say, is pretty. It's just, more people, more
Sure.
busier. So
Sure.
when we started, it was more rural.
Okay.
But my favorite memory, and I have to throw this in, is that when you drove by, they'd have a herd of buffalo there. And
Wow.
yeah, these are not the buffalo, but I couldn't
Okay.
find a picture of the exact one. But
Another buffalo. Sure.
they're beautiful. And you can just drive along 114 for free, and they were right there. And then whatever kids I had in the car that day, we would drive by and for whatever activity and see the buffalo. And then one day, this is not the camel, but they had a camel with the herd of buffalo. His name was Teddy, and he was an orphan somehow. They took Teddy in. So you
Okay.
saw a herd of buffalo,
Well, with the camel.
a camel, and a Teddy the camel, a one hump
Wow.
domineering. And you know what? When the herd moved, he moved with them within a certain distance. So I was
Okay.
always curious if that distance would ever get smaller. But yeah, I was
Mm.
like, okay, you want to see where Teddy is today? And the kids would say, yay. And they always said yes. If they would have said no, I would have gone by anyways because I wanted to see him. But that
Oh,
was,
that's
yeah,
nice.
that was. And I wonder what the conversation would be, like, hey, I got a problem. What's your problem? Well, I got this orphan camel. Well, bring him on over. Just,
Sure.
yeah.
That's
So,
good. That's a fun
yeah,
story.
yeah.
All right. Appointment book.
So,
Oh, let's talk about the Houdini on a magic carpet appointment book. Tell us that story
yeah.
with your
So,
husband and visiting your husband at the hospital or at the care facility.
Well, there were some things that happened that, um, you know, were strange. Okay, I'd mentioned there's a lot of things actually that were strange, but the first thing that made me stop and think, okay, this is a game we're playing here, is the appointment book. Because when he first started getting sick, I was putting in all these schedules, doctor's appointments in an appointment book. Nowadays, everybody uses their cell phone, but we're talking, 15, 16 years ago. So I had an appointment book, and we were going to one of his appointments, medical appointments. I put the appointment book when we were there in between the seat, the car seat, and the console.
Right.
I had so many things to carry all the time. My purse was never big enough. So the only way you could see that appointment book is if you actually were in the car.
Okay.
So the appointment book disappeared for 2 days and it reappeared. Okay, so
Hmm.
same spot, showed up, same spot. So I thought, okay, there's games we're playing here. So that was one thing. That was early on. And the second thing was my identity was stolen. Okay, and there was an arrest made from a woman from out of state. They said it must be something online, but it was the same time period.
Was there purchases charged to your credit card account, or how
Well,
did they get to you?
I got a thing in the mail saying that uh, another credit card that in Missouri, so somebody was opening up, or I did open up a second credit card, and I said no, I'm not in Missouri, I'm in Texas.
Okay.
So that
So
was
did you have to change your credit cards or?
yes, yes. I called
Okay.
right away, canceled, and then they said they made an arrest and kind of a silly, stupid way that she got caught. But anyways, there was an arrest made, and they said that it goes online, that those kind of things happen all the time. It just was another thing that they were in my car, they were in my finances, and then the story about Comet is that they were either in my house or something else happened. Comet was our dog, and
What is the dog? How did the dog give you a
what happened?
signal if there was a problem?
Well, we had two dogs, and I would come home and they would run to me. And the one day I only had one dog run to me, and I could not find the other dog, Comet.
Yes.
Finally
So
found her in the house, wedged between the wall and the head of the bed, in between, wedged in between. And she was hiding. She was hiding.
weird,
Yeah,
weird.
in our master bedroom. And so
Wow.
yeah, and they always come, they always run, they would always come and greet me. So something happened. And
Hmm.
she was smaller, but she was fast. And yeah, so I thought originally that somebody was in the house, but it
Okay. Well, those are three very strange things
yeah,
to notice that you went to visit your husband, as I understood it, and when you
yes,
returned to your car, your appointment book was missing. And then,
yes. 2 days later
then
it
two
showed
days
up,
later, when you got in your car, it
showed
was
up.
it was back between the console and your driver's seat,
Right,
reappearing like Houdini on a magic carpet. It disappeared for 2 days, then reappeared.
right.
You had
Same
an
spot.
identity theft problem with your credit cards being illegally used.
Right,
And then you
right,
came home and one of your two dogs was frightened and hiding in the master bedroom under the bed, which had never happened before. So those three things what was the time uh, range of these three strange happenings from the first to the last?
the first two were probably the same time frame when he was starting to get sick.
Okay.
And the other one was later on. Yeah.
And was it after your husband had passed away that the
No,
conflict disappearing, or
no, that was when,
I'm looking for a
yeah,
time frame?
yeah. No, he was still alive.
Okay.
He was
So
sick for
all while he was alive, so then when he passed away, did you decide to sell the house and move?
Yes, I did. Yes, I
Okay.
did.
All
Um,
right. So you moved away outside of Texas. You moved from away from Texas.
yeah, I did.
Okay. And
Yeah.
all right. So
There was one
you
more thing too, because
yeah,
I,
go
I wanted to add a, medical example too.
ahead.
So they were in my car and with my finances and in the house, and there were more occurrences there. And then medical. My husband always complained that they would never let him sleep. And one of the nights I was in one of the hospitals with him, he'd been in several hospitals, and it was late and he was resting, he was sleeping. We had the low lights on. They have different lights, but the
Hmm.
bright lights are for examining him and whatever they got to do. But he was sleeping and I was just sitting in the chair and I saw the door slowly open and I thought, "Oh, are they going to wake him up to do blood pressure or blood sugars or whatever?" And I saw a hand come through and flip the light on and then close again.
Weird.
Yeah. So it was all aspects: the car, the house, the finances, the medical system, everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Along
right.
with all the other weird stuff where they say, "Oh, no, dear, you're just imagining." No, I'm
Yeah.
not.
And that was all before COVID. That was before COVID.
Yes, it was before COVID.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Then,
Absolutely.
yeah, so you left Texas and you experienced the COVID operation in a
Yeah.
different state.
Right.
That was kind
Right.
of weird for, I think, every person listening to this video had
Right.
weird, strange occurrences where their friends and family, if you're watching this channel, you know that you're in the minority, is that we think that the COVID believers and vaccine believers and Dr. Fauci believers are certifiably insane nutcases. That includes Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, all the governors of all the fake states, including Nancy Pelosi, who was a huge pimp for COVID and a huge pimp for the vaccine. And there she is presiding over and reading the vows for Ivy Love Getty in November of 2021 in the height of COVID. She's in City Hall, San Francisco, on the very steps that Dan White walked up to murder two people. George Moscone to the left at the top of the stairs. You go left to kill the mayor, and you go right past Dianne Feinstein's cubicle, and then he killed Harvey Milk, who's United States Navy intelligence officer, and then fled the scene. And that's where Ivy Love Getty got married. A double homicide staircase. What kind of insanity do you have to be? You're going to take COVID advice from the Speaker of the House of Representatives. She's not in compliance. She's at a satanic wedding, which, by the way, you know that 6 months after those vows were taken, the Nancy Pelosi vows, they filed for divorce. And that marriage was dissolved within a year of that ceremony. So you have a wedding marriage that doesn't last. You have a Speaker of the House who has a drunkard husband by the name of Paul Pelosi who can't keep his Porsche on the highway without crashing into something. And he's eliciting hammer attacks with styrofoam hammers in homes that he doesn't belong to. The hammer attack did not happen in the Pelosi house, happened in the guardhouse for her yard. So talk about strange happenings on Mockingbird Lane at 1313. That's happening with the Gordon Getty granddaughter, Ivy Love Getty. The reason her father couldn't give her away is because her father was murdered with a broomstick in West Hollywood off of the Laurel Canyon, off of Woodrow Wilson Drive, a dead end cul-de-sac, the last home on a dead end cul-de-sac. So John Getty was killed in San Antonio, Texas. So her father couldn't give her away. He was murdered 1 year before her wedding, and then her uncle Andrew was killed by a broomstick about 10 years earlier before her wedding. And I think that's a strange occurrence that you would decide to have your wedding vows recited on the steps of a double murder. I just find this very unromantic. And I think it goes beyond losing your appointment book for 2 days, and it goes beyond identity theft. And it certainly is disturbing to have your dog hide under your bed. But everyone during the COVID operation had to deal with insanity that shows that the most of our neighbors are undependable, untrustworthy. And sadly, my neighbors are part of Neighborhood Watch. In other words, they have Ring cameras. They have a hotline to the sheriff's department. If they see anything funny, if they see somebody disconnecting a smart meter or tampering with the LED lights or tampering with the smart meters or the Ring cameras, they will call the police on you. That's what my neighbors would do. And they live in a homeowner association community. Back to you, Shirley.
Okay. Well,
Full ahead. Okay. Well, we got
sorry.
storm right now. I got airplane traffic over my head. What
Right.
else we got to talk about on this? Anything?
Well, basically, the question to ask that I would ask is anyone else ill? Did anyone else get ill? Any other engineers the same time as my husband did? And I do know there's one person that he worked with that also had strokes at that time, had a stroke and then had another one later on. But that's the problem, is because it's always a need to know. I really don't know other engineers. And that's always been kind of the environment, the need to know. Loose lips sink ships. That's why I
So
put
when,
that up there.
if I have this right, when your husband worked at General Dynamics, there was some secretiveness, concealment going on amongst the families of the employees of General Dynamics. And that was also true when your husband worked at Raytheon. But in between, he worked at Nokia, and Nokia was focusing on cell phones and mobile
Right,
phones and
right,
consumer sales, consumer
right,
manufacturing. And there
right.
you noticed a distinction between
Yes,
General Dynamics and Raytheon, where there was less secretiveness and less
yes,
concern
yes,
about the
definitely.
Nokia people.
And even when he was working for contract work, that whole time it
Mm-hmm.
was different. It was a different atmosphere as a wife. I felt that when he was working at Nokia, I knew he called me when he was in Finland, and I knew where he was. I knew what he did. The only time he ever told me what he did. So it was a different atmosphere, and it was also different. I know with the wives. I was very active in the school system when he was working at Raytheon. And I know there was, some of the wives that married to contractors, engineers, not many, but it was that kind of environment. I know one woman, her husband was having strokes, and they were a little, as far as demographics, they were the same as us, but a little bit older, meaning the children were already grown up. And it seemed like that's kind of the demographic, is that we're
Yes.
older, we're kind of close to retirement, say the kids are through college. That's
Sure.
an observation, but statistically, it's not enough people because you have this environment where you're not supposed to talk, or people sit a little bit further away. Not my comment, but others, like during a football game, they kind of, you, you just don't, you'll participate in the school stuff, but there's always that. There's this kind of underlying, we don't talk. That's my
Right. And we
interpretation.
get along by going along where we all pretend we
Well,
agree. We all
and
agree
we're there.
in our patriotism, our Fourth of July parade. There's certain, facts that are in evidence when the reality is there's not any facts, and it's just dogma. It's just dogma. It's not really based on facts, it's based on belief. That you can
Yeah.
believe in things that are not substantiated. Unsubstantiated poppycock does not necessarily represent truth. That's what I've learned. But I've always been an outlier. I'm not comfortable at Super Bowl parties, not at all, because I'll make fun of the commercials. Okay. And I'll drill right through it because I learned that as a child delivering newspapers. First thing we did was to get the headlines and then criticize and lambaste. We actually lambasted the headlines of the socially accepted news, the official news, UPI, API, AP News. We said it's fake news. We didn't say fake. We just said it's incorrect. It's untruthful. There's no such thing as a peace riot. No one is rioting for peace. But this is how the headlines read: peace riots, People's Temple, Jonestown. No such place as Jonestown in real life. There's no place ever known as Jonestown, just in the newspapers. All right.
I think that's unusual though for you to
I
be
guess. But I
there.
mean, I was just like my cohorts. There were three of us. We were three misfits, the three misfits.
Well, no, you're more enlightened than the rest of us. I mean, the sports is big in Texas. It's
Yeah,
big
the sport is
everywhere.
100% fake. They're all dope. It's all rigged, including especially high school, the state championships. Those would probably be rigged.
It's a
They're
big
fully dope,
deal. It's a
fully
big
dope.
deal every week.
So
And
if you think
I was
13-year-old
there and
kids taking hormones is good, then you'd love Texas.
oh no, I don't think
But I mean, that's what it's all
we
about, rooting for doped
even
kids.
well,
The
that's
girls,
not
the
what
gymnastics, they're dope too.
that's a shame.
You know,
No,
Lance Armstrong, he's a Texas, Austin, Texas,
right, right,
fake story
right.
for Nike. It's a Nike story. Nike. Just do it. Just do it, right? Just cheer for a dope player. Texas Cowboys. Is there a single person on that team that isn't on a massive amount of 36 drugs? A minimum of 36 drugs?
That's
No, of
incredible.
course not. None.
I think people
None.
believe that those sports do, but to think that high school, it's
Well, I mean, how
sad.
do you get on that team? You got to go to high school, then get on a scholarship because you're not going to pay for your college. You're not going to attend class. The kids that play NFL football, they don't graduate from school. They don't graduate. Maybe they go back after they've broken their knees and then go back and get a college
I
degree.
know
But
one
none
person
of
who
them go to
graduated,
class
but
and they don't graduate. And I mean, Terry Bradshaw, he didn't graduate from Louisiana State University. He was a big time Pittsburgh Steeler, four-time Super Bowl quarterback with an MVP, and he didn't graduate.
he never graduated.
No,
No.
you know, John Elway, he didn't graduate. He went to
I have
Stanford.
one relative that graduated, but it was not it was more of mm, it
Maybe he was
wasn't
a
the
kicker,
big schools. It was, huh?
the punter or the kicker, someone that like doesn't actually on the field
It
for.
wasn't one of the bigger football schools,
All
but
right.
yeah, yeah,
But then generally speaking, you're not. NFL stands for not for long.
not
All
for
right, is this
long.
your final slide, Shirley?
No, I've got,
Oh, you got more? Okay,
yeah,
roadblocks. What is
yeah.
there? Is this a good
Well,
slide to talk about?
well, I just wanted to say, because of that, because we don't have many numbers, I thought, what else can I look at as far as data? And there was one time where my husband was in the hospital later on, close to the time where he was, passed away. But he had mentioned that there was a four-star general who had, and I don't know the specifics because I was not the one, I was in earshot range,
Yeah,
but that there was some kind of meeting or something where he spoke and he said it was the end of a project. So again, I don't know how many people, I don't know the specifics of it, but that got me interested as far as, well, what project ended? Were there people? How many people? How many engineers? My husband did get laid off. He got laid off. I don't know if that was
from
part of
Raytheon.
it. From
From Raytheon.
Raytheon, he got laid off, but he
Okay,
was rehired right away to go to Mississippi.
for a
And
different company.
no, still Raytheon. Raytheon
Oh,
is all
well,
across the United
you mean
States.
so they fired him, but they brought him back as a contractor off payroll,
No,
or
he
they?
was on payroll.
Oh, he's still on it, but okay, so
Yeah,
dismissed him
yeah,
from his current job and
yes.
dispatched him to an out of town assignment.
Because nobody wanted to go to Mississippi
Okay,
because
all right.
it's more rural. It's very nice there, but if you've got kids and family and school and stuff,
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
time it was just Walmart and
Okay.
so he went there, but that's all when he got really sick. Every time he'd come back from the airport, he was really
Did
in
they have
bad
a
shape.
diagnosis for your husband? The doctors know what's wrong with him?
His kidneys failed. His
Mm.
eyesight was going. He was diabetic, but he was good for a long time, for years, and all of a
All right.
sudden. Yeah, his kidneys, and that all happened. I thought he didn't want to listen to me, so he was back on the airplane, and I thought this is bad. And when he came back, I was like, "You got to go to the doctor," and she right away put him in the hospital, and he was in intensive care for 5 days. So that was the same time my other friend in Trophy Club passed away. They said, "Come and see her now," and so she passed away same time he was in there, but she was fighting breast cancer, and I was the one taking her to different treatments and stuff.
I see. Wow,
Yeah.
that's rough. That's really rough. Well, I think we're sort of near the end of the show. Could you
Okay.
sort of sum up here? Like, how did you find my channel and why? I mean, you're a member of our Star Chamber, the Juxtaposition Star
Right.
Chamber investigative crime team. So you're really a strong member of my channel. But what can you
Well,
tell the audience a little bit about your journey after your husband died and after you left Texas and started a new life, essentially, away
mhm.
from all that patriotic Texas
Well, that,
big hat, no
yeah.
cattle group?
Well, I found you through videos with Sabrina, and Sabrina was harder to find though.
Yeah.
You were easy through her, but Sabrina was hard to find. I went through looking for answers, trying to educate myself, went through the grifters. It was actually engineers for EMF mitigation, and
Okay.
they took me towards
The
Sabrina.
Synergy channel. Yeah.
Yes, definitely that. Also, along the way, I found the TI community. I was looking at that for the EMF mitigation, and it opened my eyes to a lot of things. First of all, the grift.
Targeted individual. So I try not to use acronyms on my channel. I
Oh,
tried this with
target.
my brother from the
Okay.
Marines. It was impossible. He's too indoctrinated into using, acronyms are military ciphers so that the general public doesn't know what you're talking about. TI means targeted individual. So I just like to say
Right.
the words. Um,
Right.
okay, so
Okay.
go on. So you found a targeted individual group, and then you found Sabrina, and then you found me doing
Yeah,
some.
just general information.
Okay.
And and it was just that I wish I would have found y'all sooner, but I needed to find the other groups. So one with the grifters, I found out that the Mockingbird media is so extensive.
Yeah.
Nothing that we know
Really,
is
the
true.
only media that exists is Mockingbird.
Yeah.
It's
So
Mike Williams calls it big sandbox. That it
okay.
big sandbox. So anything that's going to promote uh, football, college football, NFL football, the Olympics, Tour de France, Formula One racing, IndyCar racing, NASCAR racing, the Olympics, anything, any platform that promotes Olympic sport or football, baseball, basketball, hockey is going to be fake. It's going to be a fake network. And the sports are rigged and doped, and the commercials are the woke messaging platform and advertising driven. The ads are woke messages too by corporations who can afford to advertise, which are all military. 100% of all the corporations in the world are military. That includes Apple Computer, Facebook, Cisco Systems. You pointed out that when you're with Raytheon and General Dynamics, that there's a kind of a omerta code of silence that's going on there. And it was less so at Nokia because of the consumer aspect of it. However, I want to point out that consumer product companies are military. It's just that they're trying to make it widely adopted and fun and friendly. That the companies like Apple and video games for children, like Electronic Arts and Atari, that those aren't military. They're 100% military, and they're designed for mind control of the consumers who use the products. Those are Garmin's, those are Fitbits, smart glasses, mobile phones, mobile devices, insulin pumps, all things to do with our medical system, all telemetry data at a hospital. were developed in military labs. A hospital is 100% militarized. Hospitals, pharmacy, pharmaceutical industry, 100% military. Military is the number one purchaser of all the materials. It's just that we don't know that. We don't think of that, but it's the truth. So anyway, that's why everyone is in a matrix of mendacity. That's what I call it, because we're in a matrix and we're trying to find our way out of
Right.
the matrix. And
Right.
how many years do you think it took you? Did you begin your journey after your husband died, and then you started to, because you're older and not worrying about the school system anymore, and you
Right.
moved out of Texas and you're away
Right.
from all your patriotic neighbors, and you don't know a lot of people because you moved to a new area and you don't have as many friends. So maybe that's what gave you the time to do some research. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, definitely. Because when you're in it, you're so busy. It took me a long time to look at all the information, to go back 9, 10 years of calendars, to go back in boxes um, of, paperwork. And what started off as one small section of time came to 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Then I'm seeing a pattern where even I wonder about my parents' lives and my relatives that,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, maybe we're all tagged. And what the medical system is, because they always ask, how did your mom and dad die? At what age did they die?
Right.
And
Like, what does it
I'm
do with anything? Who cares? They're
right,
not here, right? Deal with
right,
me. Deal with me.
right.
But right,
Because
they want
now,
that background information.
right. I think my mom was hit with something and I was hit with something. And I think it
My
kind
mom
of
was murdered. I believe my mom was murdered.
really,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
my mother was murdered too. So
Okay.
anyway, I want to try to end on a positive note if
Right.
we can, because the situation is way more serious than people understand. Even
Right.
people on my channel don't get it. So
I do. I want to leave on a
there
positive
are
note
people
as
who do
well.
get it. There are people who do, but I have a lot of free people that don't pay, unpaid members. So unpaid members, listen to this. You don't get it. Okay. If you got it, you become a paid member, because the level of sophistication is far beyond what I can talk about on a free video. Okay. So if you want to be serious, you need to understand your enemy. And if you don't understand your enemy, you will lose. You will always lose. You will always be a prisoner at the jail. And that means you eat whatever's on the tray, whatever they put on the tray, that's your food. You can go pound sand. There's no customer service in a jail. And guess what? There's no customer service at Substack or Rumble either. It's take it or leave it. Everything's an ultimatum. That's what maritime law is. Take it or leave it. I built a Hunger Game for you. If you don't like it, commit suicide, because you're not getting off the reservation. All right. Final thoughts, Shirley, on this
Well,
exciting journey of strange happenings on Mockingbird Lane, 1313.
well, I do want to leave on a positive note. And that is one of the first shows that I was watching on you I saw a comment and it was from one of the youngest viewers in your group, which is Chattahoochee Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And you were talking about signs and symbols control our world. And he had made a comment about the number 13, that the 13 was a positive number. It related to a younger relative of his, and that his family considered that like an angel number, something positive. And I thought, well, that's great because I have the same thing with my family with younger members, that the 13 really is a positive thing. And I think even though this is this language that they use, we should use it, we should learn about it, how they communicate, but we ourselves can decide what is a part of our lives. We can either, ignore it, or we can believe in that, our beliefs and what we hold dear to us and our heritage. So I thought that was really good that we had someone, the youngest one of the group, imparting some positive words of wisdom. So wanted to leave on that.
Okay, just a second here. Just want to get our faces back here. I really want
Okay.
to thank you for coming on the show, Shirley, and sharing your
Thank
personal
you.
your personal stories. And now everyone has an idea of where Trophy Club is located in North Dallas area, the greater Fort Worth, Dallas area. It's actually directly north of Ben Hogan's golf course and Fort Worth. But Trophy Club, paradoxically, was to showcase Ben Hogan's trophies. And it is on Highway 33, aka Highway 114. Highway 114, which is a 33. And I just think it's very courageous of you to be on my show. A lot of believe me, the vast majority of people who I talk about doing a show with are petrified about being on a podcast, and for a variety of reasons. And I don't talk to anyone about doing a show unless I think that they have really authentic information to share. This is why I'm so happy you do come on, because 99% of people won't come on, and they won't share their story and their knowledge. They won't. So it's really less than 1% of people in our society are willing to save our society. So it's just
I hope it helps somebody.
yeah,
Maybe they have a similar experience and maybe they'll, because
yeah.
you've been very good to guide and yeah, talk to. So if
Well, I
anybody
try
else.
to. Of course, you don't see all the hate mail I get too. I get quite a bit of hate mail. So, but you know what? Is as I read somewhere, if people said that you were just lying and it's all BS, it wouldn't offend anyone. What offends people is the brutal truth. The brutal truth is very offensive. Either that you don't want it to be spoken, or that you just hate the emotional feelings you get when you're disturbed. But that is the point of my channel, is I want to deal in the truth, whether it's a victory and you put your hands in the air and you stand on the top step of the podium, which is sweet, or if it's a Raytheon missile guidance system trying to use and let me just tell you, I drilled into the ethics of the military complex. They, with the drones and autonomous weapon systems that are being rolled out every minute, every day now, the military system wants us to know that they're ethical, which of course they're not ethical at all. They're unethical. They're inhumane. They make weapons to kill people or control them, control or kill people, pacification, control or kill. And they have a system called laws, that they believe in laws. Let me tell you what laws stands for. LAWS. It's a military acronym standing for Lethal Autonomous Weapon Systems. Lethal Autonomous Weapon Systems, where they type in a code based on your real ID verification, and then they validate and track and trace you like you're a cow on a dairy farm. Then they milk you, and then they do what's called target assessment, meaning that if you're at the end of your usefulness or you're disobedient, you try to make a jump over the fence or try to get off the perimeter, they will then target you like Raytheon missile guidance to be terminated with extreme prejudice, meaning murder you. They will put you down, and the coroner will call it, a manic episode, rodent droppings, toxicity, or hey, you're just old, right? But that could be put into an algorithm and have a 24-year-old keyboard commando push a button on you remotely based upon the target assessment, which is what Raytheon is all about, as is General Dynamics. They're in target assessment, trace, and tracking. And that's a brutal truth. But I want people to know that that's what you're dealing with. We're dealing with a militarized system. That's who the enemy is, which is a bank, because you can't have trillions of dollars in weapons without trillions of dollars of credit money to pay all the employees and all the services and all of the subcontractor materials, all the aluminum, titanium, magnesium, arsenic, poison to make radio frequency smart dust, Terra Swarm. So, that's my channel. It's clearly it's an acquired taste of only a few people, which you are one of, and you're one of the standouts, a member in good standing of our Star Chamber military crime investigation team, Shirley.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah,
Appreciate it,
thank
John.
you. All right. Any final thoughts, Shirley? And then I'm going to put this baby in the can.
No, I think that should do it. Well, just to add,
Yeah.
when my husband was in the intensive care, you know what the number was? The room number, according to my notes?
No, what was it?
234. 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 9.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that stands
Yeah.
for completeness, perfection, and divinity is the number
Well,
nine.
that's
And
Aaron Valente's number.
Ben Bugsy Siegel was murdered at a number 9 address, 810 Linden Drive in Beverly Hills, 2 blocks from the Golf Course Country Club, the Los Angeles Golf Course Country Club. Ben Siegel was killed in number 9. Just a few months after Howard Hughes crashed a military Army spy plane 2 houses to the south. I believe that Howard Hughes crashed an airplane and destroyed 2 houses 1 year before Ben Siegel was killed whilst they were rebuilding the 2 houses that the military spy plane blew up.
Mhm.
Ben Siegel was killed at a number 9 address.
I was thinking also of Aaron Valente, which was kind of a aha moment for me when it's a
Yeah,
thought
number
experiment.
999. Her body was found at a 999 or a 666 address, just like Jack Kennedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, those numbers come up a lot in military murder: 666, 999, 33. Those are rampant in dead body discovery.
Just thought that was
Okay.
and just something to add.
All
So,
right. Well, thanks again, Shirley. And I'll talk to you on the other side for have a cocktail and some beluga caviar.
okay, thank you.